Hi everyone, it's great to see you again. And if you are new to the channel, my name is Bill Benoist and I'm all about embracing retirement with purpose, passion, and new beginnings. And speaking of new beginnings, this is now a brand new year. And actually, this is my first video for 2026. And what better topic is there than setting goals for 2026? So you probably thought that you were done with goals, but I beg to differ. We all had to set goals, most of us that is, when we were working in our careers. We would often be evaluated for our performance for the year based upon the goals that we either set or that some manager set. And the thing is, though, is we need to continue setting these goals because the goals now have a new importance. It's an importance of just helping us get out of bed in the morning, something that we can look forward to that gets us up and starts our day. So I wanted to give you some examples of goals that I set for 2025. I've always been goal oriented, and the reason for this video is I was actually taking a look at some of the goals that I set for myself in 2025, and I just finished reviewing them. So one of my goals, it was the number one goal. It was the one that I gave the highest priority to, and that was taking better care of my health this year. What I wanted to do was, specifically, I wanted to lose about 30 pounds, I wanted to lose 30 pounds by December 31st, and I know that I need to lose more than 30 pounds, but that was what I figured would be a good start, something that was definitely obtainable. And that's one of the keys that you want to use is definitely make your goal attainable. For me, a lot of times that when I've tried to lose weight, I would go up and down. And so 30 pounds, I thought, okay, if I could lose that over the 12 months, I'll have a better chance of keeping that off. I did this, and by the way, I was successful with this. I did this through two things. One, I think what made a big difference, and this was not a goal of mine, but I actually stopped drinking in 2025. And I think just that helped not only just take some pounds off, but when you drink, you become a little bit less inhibited in the sense that you're not really thinking about those calories as much, and you tend to maybe overeat, especially with the snacks. So that was one goal that I did. It was for my health. Second goal was for this business, specific amount of money in a 30-day period, and I figured that it would take me most of the year to reach that goal. Now, this channel is monetized, but I gotta say, I didn't even come close to that goal. I think I really overstated that goal. So I'm gonna be working on that again for the next year. And by the way, good reminder to please subscribe and hit the bell notification to watch this channel. You can help me reach that monetary goal. The third goal that I set for myself was, and this is based upon something I've often talked about to others, and even going back to my career coaching days, being a continuous learner. Last year, my daughter gifted me a subscription to Skillshare, and I love that. And so I set a goal of becoming an expert in Photoshop. Probably seeing this big grin on my face because I've later learned that you can never become an expert in Photoshop. But I will say that I did check this off as being achieved because I am much better in Photoshop than I was 12 months ago. Another goal that I set was finances. I wanted to set aside just a little bit of money every single month to really help offset Christmas gifts in December. I achieved that goal, and I got to tell you, that was a goal that really helped out this past year. So the final goal was actually starting a photography project, a photo project. I've often talked about my passion is photography. This is something that I love to do, but I wanted to create a project, a photo project of creative photography. And I definitely achieved that over the last year. In fact, I even had a website created, Showcase Gallery, and you can see that. I have a link here on the screen. So these are some goals that maybe you might want to consider. Building a healthier routine, again, it could be something regarding weight loss, or it could be just getting out and moving every day. You don't really need to join a gym, but maybe that's a goal that you could have in mind. For me, again, health was my number one priority. As we get older, we need to take care of these things. Another goal could be strengthening your social network. Talked about how important this is. There's many studies out there of having a strong social network will actually add to the longevity of your life. It's probably just as important as getting out there and moving. You could be just simply rekindling old friendships. You could be deepening those friendships. You could be joining some clubs. So one of the things that I joined this year was, or this last year, was a photo meetup group that has been just absolutely fantastic. There's a meetup every single night of the week, Monday through Friday, and they will record it if you miss one. And you're all on a Zoom call, but it's a one-way Zoom. However, on Saturdays, we have an open talk where the microphones are open, the cameras are on, and we're just talking about photography. And as I said, it's online, but we're actually talking about getting together in 2026 for a cruise. So this is really cool, and it's just something that I have really done in 2026. It wasn't a goal of mine, but again, I think it's something that's really important, that if you're lacking a social network or you have a weak social network, that could be a great goal to set for yourself. Learning something new. I mentioned just a moment ago was being a continuous learner. I've often talked about that. You cannot stop being a continuous learner just because you left corporate America, you left your career. You want to keep doing this. In fact, learning something new has been documented, done a lot of research on, that it can help fight off dementia and Alzheimer's. Do this for your health, if nothing else, but it's also really fun. Find something that you could be interested in. For me, it was the Photoshop. Maybe it could be a new language for you. It could be something that you're really interested in. Now, the other one, which I just mentioned, working on a passion project. What is it that you were really excited about when you were a kid? Maybe those memories can bring back an idea for you. With me, I picked up photography way back in high school, and then my camera just sat in the closet for the next several decades. And once I retired, that's when I pulled it out and I started really becoming involved in this. Maybe for you, it could be painting, or it could be a musical instrument, ceramics. There's probably a passion project out there just waiting for you to tackle. And then finally, don't forget about your finances. Yeah, I did a video here recently. In fact, I'll put a link to it in the upper right-hand corner, where I talked about how all of us in retirement that are collecting Social Security, we're getting a whopping 2.8% cost of living increase in 2026. And yet inflation, they say that's only gone up 3%, but it's gone up for us a lot more. And again, I talk about that in the video. But the other thing that I mentioned is that there are a lot of people that have failed to create yearly, monthly, and weekly budgets for themselves. And they have no idea what they're really spending their money on. So one last thing that I want to talk about with these goals is that you need to write them down. And I have been a big proponent of using annual planners. It's something that I buy every December, and I set my goals up in December for the following year. This really has helped me. And you can get planners off the internet. There's Amazon planners. There's the Franklin Covey planner. That's one that I used for decades. Law of Attraction, some unique ones. There's the Passion Planner. All of these are pretty much the same, where you can go ahead and go through in the beginning and you can set some yearly goals, and then you're going to break them down into monthly goals, and then you'll break them down into weekly goals, and then you'll have almost like a to-do list each day. And for me, what I do is I will sit on Sunday, every single Sunday. In fact, this is in my planner for Sundays, actually, but even if it wasn't, I would remember it because I've been doing it for so long. I will set my objectives for the following week, my goals. I will set everything. There's going to be appointments in that, but it's also things that will help me reach that specific weekly goal at the end, and then that to help me reach the monthly goal, if that makes sense. So get yourself a planner, one that can be broken down yearly, monthly, weekly, and daily, and hopefully it will have something at the end of the month where you can journal about your successes or things that you need to work on. I hope this was helpful. If you haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification as I do upload new videos every week. And I look forward to seeing you next week.